Hello YouTube. I talked to you about Namibia before, and Southern Africa has a special place in my heart because of some adventures and research I had done and experienced there many years ago. So I want to go back to Namibia and tell you a few things that not a lot of people in the West know. Namibia is known for its wide open spaces. It has abundance of wildlife and two deserts, the Namib and Kalahari. Namibia, it's a wonderful country if you want to see different landscapes, from forests to deserts. But one form of landscape you will not really see is a natural lake district. In Namibia, you will only find two natural lakes with permanent water, Otjikoto or Otjikoto and Guiinas. By the way, the Otjikoto province is located in the northern parts of Namibia. Otjikoto is one of the 14 regions of Namibia, and it's named after the lake Otjikoto, near its former capital of Tsumeb. Not that long ago, it was actually in early 2019, the country's primary newspaper, the Namibian, reported the following story. It was about the residents of Ukwananmamwa and Amutea villages in the Onyanya constituency, Otjikoto region. They were left looking for answers after close to 30 goats were killed and their blood allegedly sucked out by unknown predators. And the first incident, it took place on the 10th of January of 2019, when 18 goats were killed, and the rest were attacked in the early hours of Friday morning. The goats killed on Friday morning belonged to a family and were killed in the same fashion as many others in the area since the year 2000. 12 of the goats were bitten in the neck and had broken jaws. Others had their knees injured. 2 goats died and 10 had holes in the neck, and they were just salivating. People were told not to eat them and to kill the remaining 4 and to burn them. The thing that killed the animals was apparently seen at the neighbor's house fighting with a dog. Those who have seen them say that they look like black dogs. That was one explanation for what they think killed the goats. This is according to the local resident who talked to the Namibian. Now, the veterinarian of the Otjikoto region said that only animals which had wounds could be treated. Others had knee bone fracture and low jaw fracture and could not be treated. And they, again, the veterinarian told the family to kill the goats and burn the meat. Now, the Environment Ministry Deputy Director for the North Central regions said that it was difficult to say what type of animal killed the goats because it was not seen and no one had reliable explanation. Scientifically, these things attacking the goats in that manner is not part of the wildlife. We know, that's what that government official said. We leave the room for more investigations. Time has gone by and I have not heard anything else. Who killed the goats is unknown, but I do want to bring your attention to the lakes. Many years ago, I heard strange stories about the cryptozoological beings that reside in those lakes. Otjikoto Lake, or Otjikoto Lake, is the smaller of the only 2 permanent natural lakes in Namibia. It is a sinkhole lake that was created by a collapsing karst cave. It is located about 20 kilometers or 12 miles northwest of Tsumeb and only 100 meters from the main road. Now, the lake was declared a national monument in 1972. The diameter of the lake is 102 meters. How deep it is, it's undetermined. There are different stories as to that. According to a Namibian Tourism Information Organization, the depth varies from 62 meters at the side to 100 meters in the center, and in some places leading off from the side depths of 100 meters have been recorded. But there was an article in a German newspaper that explains the problem as follows, how deep the lake is. Now the lake tapers into a lateral cave system, making it impossible to determine its exact depth, estimated to be in excess of 142 meters. The lake was known to the San people or Bushmen under the name of Guiinas or Ugly. When the Herero people moved into the area, they named it Otjikoto. In their language, it means deep hole. And listen, the people who lived in the area, the history is incredible, and I'll tell you one day, because I have notes. I talked to some of them. I talked to the explorer of South Africa, and it's incredible, the history, the mysteries related to them. But right now we're talking about another issue. Now, Namibia's Otjikoto region, in which the lake is situated, is an alternative spelling of Otjikoto, and it derives the name again from the lake. The first European discovered that lake in 1851. Okay, I don't know if we should call discover, because it was known to the native people for millennia, but let's leave it at that. Well, here's what's important. The Lake Otjikoto was a dumping ground for German imperial troops during World War I. In June of 1915, German troops dumped war materials into the lake before surrendering to South African and British troops from using that, and they didn't want them to use it. Most of the larger pieces have been recovered and are displayed in the Tsumeb Museum. I highly recommend. This is a very interesting place. But at least 2 cannons, along with the quantities of ammunition, are still in the lake, and apparently could be viewed with a special diving permit. According to a legend or two, the Germans also dumped a sealed safe into the lake. The search for it and the 6 million gold marks it is said to contain has not yet been successful. So there are people who search for it. Now, what I'll tell you is this. I don't know, maybe the Germans dumped something else in that lake, or it existed there well before Imperial Germany or European cultures. It was in the mid-1980s that I met a hunter and explorer, a former Soviet defector who had lived many years after his escape in southern African countries. He made his way there, and the story itself is fascinating. Now, he told me that he had seen a strange humanoid creature that jumped into the lake back in the 1970s. I believe he saw it more than once. It was a tall being, it resembled a human, and it stayed underwater and maybe in a concealed cave down there below. Now, this hunter, he waited for some hours, but the creature never resurfaced. The creature had huge eyes and webbed feet. How does it breathe underwater? Well, some years later, the hunter saw the creature there again, and who knows who it was, and who knows if that was the creature that ate the goats. Now, I told you about the museum. It's located on the town's main street, and you can see some excellent displays of the area's rare minerals, which in itself is very important too. The museum focuses on the mining history of the town and also has a collection of Bushmen and Himba artifacts. This is also a very interesting place to learn about the German colonial period. Not a very nice period for the local people. Now, the lake, it's a little strange, to say the least. There was a German botanist who visited the lake in 1911 and collected several unknown species of plants. Also, there is a fish called Tilapia guinisana, a species of cichlid fish which naturally was only found in Otjikoto's sister lake, Lake Guiinas, and then it was introduced to Otjikoto Lake. Very unusual fish. Now, there is a claim that the Lake Guiinas is connected to the Lake Otjikoto by caves. It's been made by a number of people, but apparently it officially has not been proven as such. But maybe the mysterious humanoids know a little bit more. The shape of the lake, it's like an upside down mushroom. There's about 8 meters difference in the surface levels, and Otjikoto is the lower of the two. So there's a question about whether there are actually caves that connected, or there is a mechanism that actually controls the difference in the levels. On occasion, the level of one or the other has risen, and people say because of the good rains in the catchment areas, and the other has remained in the same level. So we're not sure about what's going on there. There have been rumors, mystery, and secrets about this rather bottomless, as far as we know, and dark lake of Otjikoto. But the water of this lake, it's emerald green water, and apparently it has a mystical quality that supports the legends and folklore that surround it up to this day. And its sister lake Guiinas, it's noted for scenic setting and the ink blue water, colors of its water, ink blue. So one is emerald green, the other is ink blue. Apparently, what we are told is that Guiinas is much deeper. It also has a similar upside-down mushroom shape as Otjikoto, with a spectacular underwater cave under one of its overhangs, in which there are stalagmites and stalactites, formed when the lake had a lower surface level. Otjikoto has been a popular tourist attraction since the days of the European discovery. Over the years, its waters have been used for mining, irrigation, and in the 1960s for the construction of a road to Ovambo. Now, if the native tourists had observed anything unusual, they're not telling. As for Lake Guiinas, it is situated on a farm, and because of that is less accessible. I understand it could be viewed after obtaining special permits from the owners. Now, but what about diving there? I'm sure you are interested too. Despite a rather long coastline, it's about 1.5 thousand kilometers, Namibia is not very popular diving destination. Difficult access to the desert coasts, strong currents, rough seas, and bad visibility make diving in the ocean almost impossible. However, diving is possible in the two freshwater lakes, Lake Guiinas and Lake Otjikoto. Diving in Namibia'S extraordinary subterranean lakes, however, should be attempted only by highly experienced divers. I understand that the lure of lost gold and strange humanoid creatures can attract adventurers to the area, but I don't think it would be prudent. You have to be experienced, and you have to understand when there are local people watching the area. Now, local divers paid attention to the lakes. There have been important dives in 1970, 77, 1983, and also in later years in Otjikoto. They discovered those weapons that the Germans dumped into the lake. Vast quantities of ammunition, including large guns. Those divers did not report any creatures they might have seen in the waters of the lake. At least not openly. But who knows, maybe they don't tell us everything they had seen. Namibia is a very interesting country, and it has its share of paranormal phenomena, as I said before. For example, there is a so-called Namibian flying snake. That's another very curious type of beings. It is described as huge, black, yellow, or brown with light spots. Apparently, it can change colors like a chameleon. It has a large head with a strange luminous or reflective spot on the cap-like structure. Apparently, it also was rumored to have backward curving horns. There's the inflated neck, apparently bat-like wings. The wingspan was reported to be 30 feet. I'm not sure. They say it's 9 feet or longer. Actually much longer. The described behavior of the flying snake is reported to be as follows. It hurls itself down hills. It makes a loud roaring sound. Apparently it is capable of sustained flight, not only gliding. It smells like burned brass or tar. Interesting that for more unusual reptiles, there was a story about strange snakes that invade a Namibian town. Again, it was a report from the Namibian newspaper's website, and it was dated April 3rd, 2012. Erongos Tubuses settlement north of Usakos, near the foot of the Erongo Mountains, has apparently been plagued by hundreds of large, strange snakes. Speculation is rife, but one particular version has it that some residents claim that they saw a helicopter flying low over the area before the new year, soon after which there was a sharp increase in the snake population. I told you, it's a very interesting land. To me, Southwest Africa, Namibia, which wasn't Namibia at the time, but it doesn't matter, was always of a special interest because of the ideas found in Ivan Yefremov's novels. More about this mysterious person, scientist, philosopher, explorer, and writer can be found in 2 other videos in my YouTube channel, and the links are in the description. I have more to say about Africa and Ivan Yefremov's fascination with its secrets. Please stay tuned, and if you like my research, I ask that you support it through the Patreon site, which is also indicated in my description section. Thank you.